with all the news about this guy that escaped from the Department of Corrections all over the news and YouTube, we see this story, and it gives me the perfect opportunity to tell you a little bit on what it feels like, or how is it um, being on the run from law enforcement. I found myself in that situation way back in 1990, and I'll tell you the story. First, I want to thank you, new subscribers, the new listeners. I want to welcome you to my channel. Without you, this channel can't grow. So once again, I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. Now let's get into this. This guy that escaped from the Department of Corrections. Some people might look at it like he got away, or and he's a free man. But when you're on the run from law enforcement, you're never free. And I'll share with you my story, how it felt, what I did, and how it turned out. Well, it started back in actually 1989. A friend of mine committed a bank robbery named David. Rest in peace. He died last year. He committed a bank robbery and he got away with it. He made it back to the spot. And how they linked him to it was he left a fingerprint in a stolen car that was used. So once they got that fingerprint, they aired it on the 10 o'clock news. I remember that day because we were watching the news. He came back to my spot after he done it, and we stayed up. We watched the news because we wanted to hear if they mentioned anything about it. It happened in Modesto, so we're all just kicking back and we're watching the news, and sure enough, the news, they talk about the robbery, and before you know it, they show his picture. Now it caught us all off guard, because he got away clean, and they we had no idea that they knew who he was, but it was because of that fingerprint. And when they found out who it was, the FBI, of course, got involved, and the Fresno Police Department got involved. Eventually, they started hitting all the homies' houses and their families' houses, just asking, "Have we seen him?" Well, he was staying at my spot with with me and my girlfriend and her mom. He was staying there, but they went to my house. I guess they linked me and my other homie up to it because we got busted before together, um, for a couple of burglaries and stolen cars. So when they came over to my mom's house and they asked, "Have we seen him?" And of course I say no, haven't seen him since he went to YA. Now, when he committed this robbery, he had got out 2 weeks before. I mean, 2 weeks before he committed the robbery, he just got out of YA, and he was the type of guy that he just wanted to get into shit all the time. I mentioned him a couple of videos back when I mentioned some people do crimes because the thrill of it. Well, he's the one that I was talking about. His dad was a doctor and his mom was a teacher, and he could have anything he wanted. They would get him anything he wanted, but I guess he was just um, in love with the fact that doing something and getting away with it. So he was always into something. He was always doing shit. As soon as he gets out of juvenile hall or YA, you know, a couple of days later, he's doing something. So they linked us with him because we got busted with, for some burglaries and stolen cars, a couple years before. So of course we all time the same thing that we haven't seen him since he went into YA. We didn't even know he was out. That's what we told him. But all along he's, at staying at my girl's house, and it was cool. He was laying low. Um, but when they came over to my house and my other home's house, now we knew we had to watch um, who was following us and watch where we go because we didn't want to lead them to him. He would go out. He would come out at night and move around a little bit. Um, Everybody was getting broken off money, getting taken care of. My girlfriend's mom was getting taken care of. Got all her house furnished and new furniture and all kind of shit. I mean, thousands of dollars. So they weren't even tripping. They weren't even tripping that he was there because he had money. He got a pretty good amount. But eventually, as time went on, you had the situation where um, money wasn't being given out like it was before. So you start to hear mumbling and stuff, and eventually he had to find somewhere else to kick it. Now, this is where the story gets kind of hectic because after a while, um, people didn't want him coming to their house, and they didn't want us going to their house because they didn't want the police knocking on their door. Now everybody knew. Everybody knew because it was on the news. And once it hit the news, it was like the talk, amongst all the homies and friends and families and associates, and so nobody wanted him uh, at their house. But they wouldn't tell him. They would tell us because I was mainly the one driving him around, me and another friend of mine. And so, but they would tell us that not to bring him over. Now these are people that we all grew up with, and so when they started saying that, we started, looking at him kind of funny, like, when everybody's getting broken off money, then it was all good. They thought him doing what he did. They thought it was funny, it was cool, whatever. You know, but once the money slowed down, it was a different story. So eventually, people didn't want them at their houses. They didn't want us. They didn't even want us at their house. They didn't want us around because they thought that the feds were gonna come kicking in their door. You know, I didn't take them. I didn't take them to my mom's house because that's my mom's house. But everywhere we can go that we thought it was all right, we would go, and you know people would start whispering, not to bring him around, and he couldn't stay there, and he's got to go, and so we're like, all right, fuck it. So we just start um, hanging out, motels, hotels. Eventually, we hit the coast. We went up to Morro Bay and up all the way up to LA, all the way up to San Diego, and we're just spending money. Well, the money got shorter, and we're out there, so we got to think we got to come up. We're low on money, so we got to come up. Now he was all game. He was all game, and us being with him, we're like, well, fuck it. We'll do it too. You know. So eventually, uh, things happened. We went and we hit a lick in Riverside. Now this is one of the bank robberies that I got convicted for. So, you know, For those of you that are wondering, why am I even talking about this? So we went up to Riverside and we hit a lick over there. Got a few thousand, got enough to live for a few weeks, but we're still staying out there in different hotels, nice hotels too, 5-star hotels, nothing ghetto. Living it up, just along the coastline. You know, money gets low again, and you know what time it was. It just was a thing like that, and we're up in San Diego, and we're fucking around on the beach, and he broke his leg. He broke his leg, so obviously he was out of commission. So we're driving around everywhere, and you know things happen. We come up, and we just continue doing what we're doing, living it up. Now they had the feds went to my mom's house again looking for me, and they told her that they wanted to talk to me. Now I didn't know this. I was out there on the coast. Now the only way to communicate back then was either face to face or payphone or landline phone. So while they were looking, well, we knew they were looking for him. We didn't make no phone calls home. We didn't call nobody. We didn't want them to trace nobody's, um, tap nobody's phone or nothing like that. So we came back into town, or me and my homie came back to town. David stayed with one of his relatives in Lancaster. So me and the homie came back to town, and we knew it would be kind of risky to come back in the car that we had. So we had bought a car. I bought me a little Blazer. So we roll back in. Nobody knows that car. We just stop different places, see what's up, see what the talk is, see what the news is around town. And sure enough, they were looking for me now. They were looking for me because they had a picture of me in this bank, and they stopped at my mom's house and they showed my mom. They asked her if she knew who that was, and she said no. Obviously, when I talked to her, she told me that she knew it was me as soon as they showed her. But she told them that she didn't know who it was and that I wasn't there and I haven't been there, that I didn't even live at home anymore. Well, the talk around town was they were looking for me now. So once she told me that, you know, I go back to my girl's house and I told her, I said, look, my mom said they went to my house and they're looking for me. They had a picture of me. She said she recognized me. Um, she said they asked her if she knew who it was, and she said no. So I gotta get out of here. I gotta go back to where David was at. So you gonna go with me? You can want to roll? Let's roll. If not, I'm gone. So eventually she said yes, she wants to come. So we went, shot across town, went to my other homeboy's house, and I told him, I said, look, this is what's up. You want to roll with me? Let's roll. If not, I'm out. And I don't know when I'm gonna be back in town, but you know, let's go if you're gonna go. So he said, nah. He said he was gonna roll with me. Cool. So right then and there, we jet back out of town. We jet back to Lancaster, and we got back pretty quick. So David was tripping like he thought we were gonna be gone a couple of days, and I said, no, this is what happened. He said they went to my mom's house, and she said they had a picture of me, and she said she could recognize me real quick. They asked her if she knew who it was, and she said no, but what they wanted was they wanted to talk to me. What they wanted is they wanted me right there, face to face with them, so they could look at the picture and look at me, and bam. I said, so I can't go back over there. So now I'm on the run with them, and only this time we're not in Fresno. We're on the run in LA, San Diego, San Francisco, all along the coastline. we're just spending money, staying on the coast. Money gets short. You know, um, what's up. So it got to the point where everywhere we went, it just felt like people knew who we were. Somebody might look at us, and it was that feeling like, you know, do they know who we are? Do they see us on the news? Do they see our picture? Um, we got to go. So we started getting real paranoid. So everywhere we went, we couldn't, go shopping no more. We couldn't just do what we were doing. We couldn't have no fun because we didn't know if we were being uh, shown in other cities. And it just got real bad. Like um, we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't go and have fun. We couldn't have fun like we were, and everywhere we went, we thought we were being uh, watched, or somebody was going to call the cops and report us. Um, Obviously, we couldn't come back to Fresno. The only way we can come back is we would have to do something and buy a car and come back into town with that car that nobody knows, and just mob around in that, go different places, but it had to be late at night. And we come back. Um, we bought a car. We came back, and I went to my mom's house and stayed there for a day. My homeboy went to his mom's house, and just for the day, and we rolled back out. The thing is about that is we couldn't buy cars and just collect cars because we already had our cars that we normally would mob around in, and so we would have to tell one of the homies or friend of ours, or you know somebody we knew, to drive us back to where we were staying, and they can keep the car. So it went like that a couple of times. So we bought a couple cars, nothing expensive, a couple thousand. And there was a few people out there that had cars that we bought. So anytime we wanted to come into town, we would have to, call them up and have them go down into where we were at, um, pick us up, bring us back into town, and then, you know, do what we got to do, and then take us back. So that happened a few times. See, and the thing with that though is when they would go, then we would have to break them off some money, um, because they might have to borrow some money from somebody for gas or whatever to go. So we had to break them off money for that. Plus, we got to break them off, to keep their mouth shut. So that started to get expensive. You know, then it starts getting to the point where, we don't really know if anybody's saying anything as far as where we're at or anything like that. So we had to cut ties. We had to cut ties with a lot of people that we knew. Even our parents, our sisters, and you know everyone, because we didn't know if we could trust anybody. Plus, you had uh, so many people who didn't even want us around anymore because they didn't want no heat at their house, or we couldn't go and stay at their house, or we couldn't stay the night or nothing. We couldn't hide out nowhere. So basically, we're just living on the run. Got to the point where we didn't even want to get no hotels no more because we got to give them our ID, and we don't know if we already been shown in the local news wherever we're at, and we don't know. So um, it was to the point where we're living in our vehicles. Now it was four of us, and we all had our own cars. So everywhere we went, we would just follow each other. It was four of us and our girlfriends, and we would just follow each other. Wherever we stayed, we just two couples in one room, and it's just been like that. There was no more home cooked meals. Couldn't chill outside no more. And we're just basically living in our cars in the motels, thinking everybody's watching us, thinking somebody's gonna turn us in, and everyone had um, their own plan on what we should do, and eventually, um, we would just do our own thing. We split up, but when it was time to get some money, we met up again. Or we'll just do our own things, but we'll stay in the same hotel and we'll just meet up there at night. But everybody had different plans, different ways they wanted to do things. We're all 17, 18 years old, so we're just kids, and thinking that we know everything, but at the same time, we're thinking that everybody knows who we are. We're getting all paranoid. Can't do shit no more. We're like dope fiends. You know, we're doing stuff to pay for our gas and our fast food and our place to stay. Like a dope fiend would just commit crimes to support his habit. We're doing the same thing, but it was just to survive on the street.